Okay. And now we're back again. We're live, people. I should come up with an intro at some point. Maybe that is the intro. I don't know. But just wedging myself down onto my bed here. God damn it, Momo! The cat's trying to knock the
That's the
camera
intro.
over. That's
That's
the
the intro.
intro. The cat's trying to knock the camera over. You little fucker. All right. Anyway, we're back for laying it down with Big D. I, of course, am Andrew Big D Morrow, your host, and today I'm joined by a friend of mine, fellow Counter Strike enthusiast, lover, competitor, player, streamer, Brandon Dudley Sullivan. Brandon, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well, man. I may have been sleeping and showed up 15 minutes late, but that's literally me every day, so it's fine. How about
That
you?
that's all right. You're not the first person to oversleep for laying it down. I won't name names, but somebody not once but 2 days in a row overslept to the point where I had to like reschedule the next day with them. But so that's all right. And you know what? Good sleepy vibes are what we're all about here at laying it down with Big D. Right? I'm hanging out on my bed and laying it down. But
Yeah.
anyway, I appreciate you being here. That's besides the point. Uh, let's go, dude. I'm gonna ask you the first question I always ask. What's your earliest memory of Counter Strike, and how did you get started in playing it?
Earliest memory probably is meeting Buckethead, like 10 years ago. So it was like 2014 actually. I built my first ever computer with my best friend in high school. He had always wanted me to get into PC gaming. I always wanted to do it too as a console kid. So for my senior year, my parents were willing to invest partial money into building a PC. So we built the PC up. I spent all of that like year originally just playing Minecraft, and I was like a Minecraft. I was a mod for Lachlan's Pokeballer server back in the day and became a server admin. Someone's girlfriend or boyfriend, I don't know, it was weird, got access to the Minecraft account of another admin and blew up the region we worked in with no manual backup for the region. So we were all basically told, hey, your server's dead and we have no other server for you. So then I was like, okay, well, what other PC game do I want to spend time on? And one of the friends that I made through that server recommended Counter-Strike because they knew that I played competitive COD back in the day on console. I played Advanced Warfare, or Advanced, yeah, AW, which some people love, some people hated. I just thought jetpacks were fun. It was very fast paced for a COD, which I mean it's COD, they're all fast paced, but that one in particular hit with me. But yeah, he had me in a Counter Strike, and like I don't really have a lot of memories outside of just playing MM with them. I was never silver. I never actually got ranked silver because they were all MGs, and we won most of our games. Like I understood you had to have your crosshair at head level already from playing COD competitively or towards head, which isn't great for COD, but I knew the premise. Like I understood where to aim. So all people had to do was just put me in front of something and I'd click. So I could make my way work in old Golden Nova, low MG1 lobbies. I want to go super positive, maybe some neutral, maybe some negative, but like I never had to deal with the silver. So when I was kicked off the boat, got my rank and kicked in the swimming pool and told to go swim myself, I met Buckethead in like a random MM game. I think it was on Cobble. It might have been Train. But we added each other and back in like 2015, and we just started playing. And that was back in the days where you added somebody, you gave them a TeamSpeak IP, and you joined a TeamSpeak, and you just played with each other in TeamSpeak. And then through that, we met another guy named Carl, or Crazy. We met him on a Train game, and then we played him, or Cobble, and then we played him again on Train. He beat us on Train, I think. Or no, he lost on Train. Carried hard on Train, lost on Train, and then we invited him to the group and got him involved. There was another guy named Anubis or Jackson, and all of these like people we all met within a year of each other, pretty much. I think one of my earliest like fondest memories is playing with Buckethead and his friend named Ian. And we're going Dust 2, and Ian jumps up Xbox, gets shot from lower tons. He goes, "Ow, my ass!" In the most monotone fucking like I don't know Reddit voice, I guess, like you'd ever imagine. Um, but yeah, my game and my starting Counter Strike was just casual competitive game to fill time, and then I just ended up meeting like some of the best friends I've ever had. You know, Buckethead now too is like becoming a real caster, and I won't tell him this, and I never have. But like, if he keeps going the way he has, maybe he'll work some tier one events. He has the advantage of knowing people in tier one networks already. I mean, they brought him into Cologne on their own pocket essentially, just for the whim of it, because he put buckets on his head in New York. But yeah, I went
Which is
to
so
IEM New York.
cool.
It's insane. Like it's crazy too because I went to IEM New York with him every single year. That's how we met. And there's a big age gap. So like when I met him, he was in 7th, 8th grade in that summer, and I was graduating high school. So like, there's a massive age gap from the start. I've seen that kid graduate middle school, high school, and college. So it's like this weird father and brother dynamic. And when we first met was IEM New York, and his mom was so concerned. His mom was like, "Is this guy a diddler? Like, what's going on here? Like, this is so weird. Some random fucking 19-year-old kids meeting with my 14 or 15-year-old son to go to an event in New York City for a weekend. Yeah, sure, whatever." So we had his sister's better be fiance soon, little ass. But we had him come with us for the first day, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't need to go anymore. He's just a weirdo. He just likes Counter Strike." So that's the long-winded story of how Counter-Strike for me really took off, was really the mix of running into the right people in matchmaking and then going to a tier 1 event in New York City for 4 years straight.
And we got the bonus story of, and I think you know this, but Buckethead is also laying it down alumni here. So we got the
Oh, hell yeah.
full story of how you and Buckethead met as well, which I think is freaking cool. Yeah, because he is a very cool dude, and I like seeing him succeed right now and having all this good stuff happen to him. And yeah, shout out to the boy Buckethead. And man, what is it about Counter Strike that like keeps you coming back?
It's the fact that I've like done so many traditional sports. I've played soccer, baseball, lacrosse, basketball, wrestling, track, cross country, powerlifting, equestrian.
Weren't you a
I know I'm
nationally
missing one or two.
what
Tennis, yeah.
what was it
Uh,
powerlifting that you were like won national championships in?
Yeah, so I was an athlete all my life, and then my senior year, or once I got to high school, I moved around a lot as a kid. 7 states, like 30 houses now, something like that. So it made it impossible for me to continue doing a lot of the sports that I did when I was young. Like I did soccer for 14, 15 years. I was part of the Manchester like a Man U development league as a youth. So if I didn't move, I probably would have been shipped overseas to go to a school for, soccer and academics. But yeah, so when I got to college at Penn State, I was looking for a sport, and powerlifting at the like big club like conference events they have, they just pulled me aside like, "Hey, do you lift? We need your weight class. You're small and you're kind of built, so we need you." So I just joined the team randomly. Never powerlifted before, and then I won a national championship. I set over 40 American and national records in my weight class, and then yeah, won the national championship in the same year back in 2016, and then re-injured myself. Actually, I was like the track star in high school. I was slated to be like top 10 in the state, and then I injured my T-band and my hamstring in the same event from just being overran. My coach had me run 4 events, 4x1, 4x2, 200 and 100, but they were all back to back to back, so there was no time to stretch and like take breaks. Just because I qualified for finals for the 100, so that was mostly the issue. Was I ran technically five events in one track meet, but like 3 of them were back to back to back, so it kind of messed up my leg.
Good lord.
But yeah, national champion in powerlifting, and then I re-injured myself, and then senior year, my best friend texted me. She's like, "I know you need a sport and you like animals. Join the equestrian club." I was like, "I've never ridden a horse before," so I went to tryouts. They told me get on the horse in the saddle, and the coach was like, "Everyone stand in the saddle." I just stood in the saddle from all that leg strength of squatting and shit like that I'm used to. And then got the text. She was like, "Yeah, you're on the team. You stood in the saddle with no problem." That's all it took. And then the same year, I ended up competing and placing in 4 different equestrian events after never riding a horse before. So yeah, it's the fact that like I've always been super competitive and I've always been really good at traditional sports. So Counter-Strike kind of fills that. I think as we get older, a lot of people like me who are like athletes as kids kind of have a weird gap when you get to be an adult because it gets taken away from you. Like unless you're a pro athlete, it's really difficult to still maintain that competitive edge and like still play traditional sports or put in the same amount of time as you would when you're growing up, because you just can't justify it. And you know, like there's men's leagues and stuff like that. But again, for someone like me who's moved around my entire life, an online video game is always there. The rec league or men's league, that's a process to join every time I move. When I'm moving once a year, most of my life, I mean that's just yeah. Counter Strike's consistent. You know, the internet connection connects to the same people no matter where you live, so it makes it easy.
I think that's beautiful. Okay, well, I know what my next question is after all that. What can't you do?
I talk to women, I guess.
No, I
You
know
know,
that's not true.
successfully, at least successfully for a prolonged amount of time. Um, I don't know. I just the way I see it, I'm just kind of averaging a bunch of stuff,
It's not all it's cracked
or
up to be,
slightly
don't
above
worry.
average. Yeah, it's life. I mean, everyone's good at certain things and bad at other things, and it's not like I'm a 3,000 elo player. I mean, to be honest, I throw most of my elo playing with everybody and anybody that types in my chat for more than 5 minutes, but that's a me problem, not a them problem.
Yeah, I think you and me need to start grinding together then, because yeah, I've been getting to that point as well. Shout out to any of my friends that watch this. They don't. Actually, all of my friends watch it in the Counter Strike community. I'm talking about like my friends that just play Counter Strike casually. But yeah, I'm getting to that point too, where it's like it's fun now that I've broken through to level 10. I'm not as stressed about it. I would like to grind, but like, yeah, it's like I already know I'm good at the game. I just want to be able to play with my friends, dude. Do you ever have this challenge though when you're like the best on the team, that and people think you're the best, your teammates think you're the best on the team, that you're like teammates you're queued up with are hindrances because they get too scared to like make a mistake, or they like don't play comfortably because they're worried to make a mistake? Do you ever find that?
Yeah, it's pretty constant. So with my friend group, going back to like the Buckethead and it was crazy thing I mentioned, we had essentially like two team speak wide community between 20 to 30 people. We had two IM like open teams playing back to backs from each other all the time. In that friend group, I was just kind of there. I think I was the most consistent person in that friend group by far, and probably the best or second best player there. But I was always the undervalued guy, and I didn't really care too much because I still enjoyed the game, and there were other places to play outside of that little community. That's why I have so many Face It games. Funnily enough, was we played literally probably 1,000 or 1,500 10-man games in the hubs back when Elo was enabled in private hubs. So it fucked the Elo pretty early. Regardless, though, like I've noticed it more now when playing with like let's level 7 through really 5 through like 8. And even in random pugs you'll see it with players where like sometimes their issue isn't their mechanics or their understanding of the utility or how to throw util. It's about being confident when to throw the util and when to make the read. Like you see it really well in 2v2 and 1v1 scenarios where they require to reposition themselves to like let's say I don't know the T's is one top mid to kill your window player. You got a B anchor and an A anchor, and one T's unknown. Maybe he's a Palace lurk, maybe he's a B apps lurk. But you start to see it in the way that they're positioning. Like they're anxious, like they're shifting crosshair positions really all the time. They're shifting from one like they're playing backbench 1 second, they're going to van the next, and they're going into market. Like they're moving around in that scenario and opening themselves up to more and more opportunities rather than staying steadfast in their positioning and their crosshair placement, and understanding where the T's can come from. But like even in aggression plays, you see it a lot where people will start to swing out, and the second they get contact, they get anxious and stop moving forward, or you start to see the crosshair wiggle. Like I've seen people. The way I describe it is like people like woodpeck almost when they start spraying when they get nervous. They like peck it, like they peck the mouse one button like they're a freaking bird looking for worms. And like it's a confidence thing usually. It's just I think CS players like NA mentality is pretty brain dead to be honest. But the one thing NA gets right is like you just need to be the best player in the server at all times in your head. Even if you are the worst player in the server and you know it, you need to go in thinking you're simple. Obviously, that doesn't mean go swing 5 people holding you or 2 or 3 people holding you, but you need to have the confidence to make accurate like decisions based on the info you have. Because in CS, in my head, making a decision on incorrect info is better than making no decision at all on the correct info. You know, like at least you're making a decision. You need to make decisions.
Hesitation fucks you in this game. Like even if you make the wrong decision, you made a decision, and sometimes, and that means that a decision being made can, like a wrong decision can turn in to a right decision,
Yeah.
but hesitation almost always means death in that game.
100%. I mean, if you have good enough mechanics, or even if you don't and you just say you do for a moment and then, you hit the shot, like if you make the wrong play, you over aggro, you over push, but you have the confidence to back it up, it doesn't matter. I think what separates like the best players from the average player is the average player will consistently do the safe thing and the correct thing, and the best player will go do the risky, stupid play out of left field if they have the wrong read that ends up winning rounds. Like that's how you win rounds, honestly, in close games in CS is you take those risks. And like a lot of players plateau themselves because they're not willing to take the risks necessary to win close games. Um, I mean, part of it is pugs are pugs, but it's definitely noticeable with like level 5 through 8, like mid-level 8s. Even some of the 9s right now, man. Some of the 9s make me wonder what's in water, like if it's battery acid or lead. Like I don't get it. Like there's so many people in Face It right now that are just elo terrorists to the point where they don't understand what trades are. They'll like see you die and then they'll run away. And I guess that maybe that's another confidence thing too. Like they either don't understand trading or they're not confident in their ability to trade, so they just run away from the trade. And there are times you should immediately trade, there are times you should delay your peak to trade, and there are times you should run away. But like there are too many players that just run away from every trade. Doesn't make any sense. You're like resetting the round for nothing.
I'm looking right in my camera right now. Right at all my friends. Get those trades. I've got some like I love playing. I do love playing like with my friend. So I'm gonna be 35 here in a few weeks, and like I have friends my age who, while I didn't play Counter Strike for 20 years, I've been gaming my whole life, and now I like play with people my age who have been playing Counter Strike for 20 years, and no matter what rank they are, I love playing with them just because they understand the fundamentals of like map control and trading and crosshair placement and good communication and stuff like that. But yeah, dude, there's a serious problem in pugs with people just not understanding the like most basic fundamentals of Counter-Strike. Like why do you think that is? Is it yeah, I'm not gonna give you an either or. Why do you think that is?
Dude, I wish I could tell you. Like my peak recently was recent actually, probably the past like month or two. It was like 23, it might have been longer now actually, but 2300 and change, like 2350 somewhere around there. But like even at that elo, man, people don't know to throw a flash over like Mirage or over Kana Mirage on CT side. Like I have A players that don't know to molly ramp. Like they smoke ramp to start and then hide and get surprised when someone runs through a smoke in the first 15 seconds, so we lose A site. I don't know if it's players that are hopping into face it too early that have really good aim. Like I don't know if it's, hey, I'm a Valorant player who got immortal with good aim, so I'm gonna aim my way up. I don't know. I wish I could tell you, because Face It starts everybody at level 7. So with how Face It like is luck of the draw, I'm wondering if it is just people who just aim. They get like they played a lot of MM and CS2 buffed just people who hold W and shoot, or if they played a lot of like Valorant style games where they still have aim, but they don't understand fundamentals of Counter Strike. Just get level 7 and then out aim their way up to level 10. Because honestly, anything up until like 2500 elo is fraud territory. Like, it's all 50-50 games of frauds. I'm
That's
so
my
sick and
goal.
tired of being the dude. Once you get above like 24-2500, I feel like you start to get players that more consistently know fundamentals. That's kind of like the area in NA where if you can get to that elo and you're good enough to keep it, you'll keep it. I think anything below that, you're in the danger of the swing of these players who don't understand fundamentals. Like, dude, just watch a Warl video. Like, like watch Warl, watch Austin CS. Like, there's so many players that have really good videos regarding fundamentals of CS. Sure, they aren't gonna like. None of their videos are designed, especially Warls. They're not designed to like make you an advanced player or an ECL player, but like they're there to teach you the fundamentals. I don't know. I think it's kind of worse with CS2. And I'm wondering too is like the appeal to a more casual audience in CS2 is inviting people who usually don't like take it as competitive and they just play to shoot and run, which considering how inconsistent CS2's gameplay is, it kind of buffs them, to be honest. I mean, pros have talked about that too, like Twist and Others have talked about how online it's like a fucking shit show.
Yeah,
Your
online
performance
Counter
is
Strike 2 is still not in a great spot. It's serviceable. It's fine, better than it
yeah.
was, but anyway, yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Nah, dude, you're fine. It's a fucking conversation. I mean, even when I'm playing LAN, like I didn't play LAN and Go. I've played LAN and two, and I only have ever played one LAN with like a repetitive team. And it's just the Rowans. But like, LAN CS2 feels very, very similar to CS:GO. I'd say the movement isn't the same. The movement's still shit. It's just how the game's built, unfortunately. And I think that has something to do with Fletcher. Fletcher on Reddit, one of the devs, put out that like the models are still based in the Source 1 engine, and they have to redo every animation and model in the Source 2 engine. So that might have something to do with why the movement's so ass. But like, playing on land so much easier. You can ask Fat Guy. We were doing retake 10 man. We were doing 10 mans, and we were just playing to play in post rowing on land servers. And this guy's like, Dudley, you fucking bitch, go join M80. Maybe they'll win some games. So like there are advanced players that know when I go on land I can frag, but like yeah, no, it's online. It's 50-50, man. It's what's the server and which server in the location is it determines how that game feels or plays. It's like it's one of my chatters said this the other day, or one of my viewers was saying it. Like, it's incredible to watch people like fight like Veltat, or, oh my god, Monacy, or like Zywoo be consistent online. Like, how the fuck are you consistent when the game's inconsistent? The movement keys don't even accelerate you at the same speed every time you hit them. Like, how are you consistent? It doesn't make sense. And that's just the level of goat that like those kind of players are to begin with. But it's better than it was 2 years ago, and it's getting better. But like, man, we've been playing a beta for 2 years, and the shit's getting old.
We
But I
have
also get it.
we have been playing a beta more or less for 2 years, and like you said, it's much better on LAN, and the pros have even said CS2 on LAN feels way better than CS:GO ever did on LAN. Like it's going great right now, but like yeah, and the other thing too is like every time they fix one thing, they break three other things, and I get it. That's like development, right? Like especially software development. Like I get that that's what happens in software development. But for the love of God, Valve, you guys print money from this game. And I get that if it was a problem that could be solved by throwing money at it, it would be. But like, how do you not have like just a more robust team of people working on this game? Even just 20 people. Would that be too much to
Well, that's
ask? I know
I
Gabe
think
is
it is for
watching.
Valve. Yeah, not
It,
with Counter Strike, guys. Fucking 10 hours. Well, no, it's a good point though, right? Because you look at Clair Obscure, like the new indie hit. A team of 30 people produced a game that is a better than AAA standard with basically no bugs. Like I didn't experience a single one in the entirety of its gameplay, and like by no means am I going to tell developers how to develop, but it is really funny when they break something and then someone on Reddit finds how to fix it in a day. And
right.
it's like these Reddit people who aren't being paid to do this. Yes, they're probably trained, but they're not being paid to fix the game. Are fixing the game for you. The only reason why we have sprays that are fixed now is because a guy on Reddit found it a year and a half ago, and it took them a year and a half to implement the fix that he proposed. Like, some things just don't make sense, and I don't know if it's middle management. I don't know if it's the rumor that Valve employees get to pick their game, so CS2 has a very low amount of people working on the game at a time. I don't know if it's Valve hates CS2, but like even the other day when they introduced the bug or they fixed something in the game last week, guns became see-through, but only the AK-47 when mollies were on the ground. If you had an AK and behind a molly, you could see through your gun. Like you'd see the molly behind it, which wasn't the whole point fixing spaghetti code, but like how does fixing one thing, which I think was the spraying, make your gun like translucent or transparent? Like they still have spaghetti code issues. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. That game, it's phenomenal. I wonder if it just has to do with like transitioning to Source 2.
I think that's a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
it. I mean, they pretty much have had to rebuild Counter Strike, and I think it was sometime back in 2019 or 2018, whenever it was that big post came out from Valve on Reddit or wherever it was that said, Hey guys, just so you know, like the Counter-Strike source code is like the messiest code ever written. Like it's a disaster in there, and fixing it go and it's tens of thousands of lines of code, and going through and trying to fix it would be like they pretty much admitted they are going to have to start from scratch. However, they're still obviously using stuff from like source 1, and I think also, let's put on our tinfoil hats here for a moment. Uh I think that a lot of the I I don't think that's a rumor that Valve employees get to choose where they work. Like that's how Valve operates, is the like rolling desk policy. At least 10 years ago it was. I don't
Yeah.
know now, I guess. But my guess is that Half-Life 3 is like all hands on deck right now. And when Half-Life 3 is going to come out within the next 2 years, mark my words, Brandon. And then Counter-Strike 2 will start getting operations again.
I fucking wish.
I miss
I mean, Half-Life
operations.
Alex came out. Dude, I
Half-Life,
know, I
did
do
you
too.
play Half-Life Alex?
I didn't, but I knew that was the test for Source 2. Like when that game came out, that was the Source 2 test. That was the what can Source 2 do, how can it perform, and what can we get away with. And it supposedly was a phenomenal game. I
It's
mean, functionally speaking,
incredible, dude.
that's just Half-Life 3. Like for now,
For
that's just
now.
Half-Life 3. Hey man, I wouldn't doubt it. Valve counting to 3 when. It is funny that the third game in the series isn't even referred to as the third game. They still can't find a way to count to 3. It's just never happening.
I think them calling this Counter-Strike 2 is so funny. Like,
I
it's
I
Counter-Strike
still don't.
5, but we're calling it Counter-Strike 2.
Dude, the one thing they need to learn how to do is fucking count or like name things numerically. It's insane. It's like talking to like a kindergartner. It's like pulling numbers out of a hat. Like maybe that's what it is. Maybe they have a hat, like a magic hat in the back office they just pull the names out of. That's why they can't count to 3. They just never pull the number 3.
Nobody
Shit's
wrote it
it's
down.
Yeah, exactly. No one knows how to count. That's the problem. They all know how to code, not how to count.
Too bad it's not just ones and zeros, because then we could make a binary joke, but it's not there. They got
It was
twos
worth
in
a
there as
try.
well. It was worth a shot. It was worth a shot. But well, all right. What else should we yap about here, dude? Yeah, I want to. You are a very outspoken individual, both in public and private life. About many different matters, and requested a special opportunity to. I'm giving you the platform here. Let the people know how you felt about this weekend in those ESL Impact Grand Finals.
Yeah, no, like shout out the Comets. Those players are fantastic
We're
people.
huge
I
fans of the
officially like
Comets here.
Oh, 100%. And I think any reputable person in CS is. Like all the casters in NA are, all the streamers really are. Well, I shouldn't say that anymore. Well, we thought. Um, but like Comets has worked hard. They've worked as hard as anyone else to get there. They're an advanced team who went what, 9-4 in advanced. They've shit on everybody.
And with the
They
recent development of cheating accusations against Lobo Army, have made it into the playoffs.
Yup. They're not even accusations, too. The fact that Faceit went out of their way to say, yeah, these weren't false
Convictions.
positives.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. Yeah, we knew when we did this one. But yeah, Comets, they deserve all the love and respect. And like, it's honestly disgusting seeing people going out of their way to try and tear down people who are succeeding at no cost of their own success. Like, I don't care. Like, just shut the fuck up, to be honest. Like, if you have a problem with transgender people existing, I got a problem with your opinion. Just shut the fuck up. No one asked. Like these people don't need your approval to compete. They have ESLs. And if we really want to go down the rabbit hole of like, oh, how do we know men just can't declare to be women? Yeah, we know they can't because ESL has a system in place where you require medical authorization,
You are
like
required.
proving. Yeah, like you are physically required to go through medical authorization. You are required to go through a transition. You think someone's going to go through a transition to not make a living wage while playing Counter-Strike, to have a second job on the side to be able to pay rent and afford bills and eat food? Like you really think it's some like farce? Like I don't understand. And to see so many people go out of their way to make a point of this when they've never spoken about Impact, they've never cared about Impact, they don't give a shit about women's sports, and they try and say that they're protecting women when the women in the scene are like unequivocally supporting it, and yet they're like, "Oh, me as a man who's never watched this part of the scene before knows what's best for you. They shouldn't compete." Like, what the fuck are you on about? It's disgusting and disappointing from Counter-Strike. There's no room for that. There's no room for that anywhere. And the one good thing is it kind of tells me who to not go near in the scene. Like, it's gonna be okay, never talking to you again or never dealing with you again. And what I want is other content creators to do the same. I'm not a big content creator. I'm well known in the local North American circuit for frag events and like casting and stuff like that, but by no means am I a big content creator. Um, and I hope other content creators will finally take a stance for something, or otherwise they stand for nothing. And I'm not saying we need to cancel people. Like, people still deserve livelihoods, and if they make good content, they make good content. But like, there's a point where if you really truly support the impact scene and the things those women are doing, you're gonna stop interacting and going out of your way to interact with people who came out this weekend as transphobic and disgusting. Um, like, stand for something for once. One of my like biggest criticisms about North American Counter Strike and streamers in general is so many of them are honestly just kind of toxic dirtbags, and we just kind of let it slide because content, haha, hell, I made it on a Loba video. I'm in Loba's new YouTube video of him talking about what happened. And again, that's somebody that I don't think ever spoke a word. And fairness to Loba, like, credit to Loba, his point was that we shouldn't be attacking individual players. They deserve to be happy and deserve to play the game. It's not on them, it's on ESL. So it was still transphobic, still him hinting at like they're not women, even though they are. But at
Sure.
least he had human decency to be like, okay, guys, you shouldn't be hating them. Like, don't hate the player, hate the game. But
Right.
again, that's just, I don't think people realize ESL does medical authorization. This isn't,
Which
it's not
has
like I can wake up
prevented
tomorrow
certain
morning.
players from playing because they aren't able to secure their medical authorization. So it's not like
Literally.
ESL hasn't blocked out people without medical authorization playing. But people don't know that because they don't follow the scene. They don't actually understand
No.
what is happening. They just see 5 people up there that they disagree with being there and they immediately start jumping in. And it's, yeah. I also was very happy about the fact that there was just a very wide array, like as much hate as there was on social media, specifically X, there was so much support from so many people in the scene going, no, you can't be talking about, like, you don't know what, like, just so much support as well, which was a beautiful thing to see. But I also want to I want to let you finish here, but I also want to point out the fact that one of the big differences in people like yourself that have your opinions or versus the people that have opposing opinions, what you said there about, I'm not trying to tell you to fuck off and die when I say there's no space for you and your opinion here. I don't believe in that. You deserved a livelihood as well, being a human, but you can't talk that way around this area. On the other side, you have these people that do literally want to kill people off because they disagree with how they exist, and that's the thing that scares me a lot about just where everything in the world right now is headed. But anyway, thanks for letting me to wedge that
It's
in there.
no, dude, it's your show. But like,
It's
it's
your
it's true
show.
though, right? I mean, fair. But like, look at Empathy's tweet, right? Instead of celebrating and being
Yeah.
happy, like, I know Fox is like, Fox, her mental's, she said herself, her mental's strong and iron. So for her, but like, you shouldn't have to have that kind of mental to enjoy doing something so great and wonderful for NA. Like, that's the first real success a tier 2, tier 3, whatever tier you want to place them in that isn't tier 1 North American team has had. Like, shout out to all those advanced teams that do nothing every year outside of just playing
Playing in
advanced. I'm not saying they're
advanced.
not as successful, but like, these people made it to a stage and made it to a grand final in their circuit. No other North American team has done that within a year of forming a team in fucking what, a decade? You know what I mean? Like, these people have done something unprecedented, so why are we not celebrating? It's insane. And I think part of it is X is also this right wing like media space now. Not to get political about it, but like, it's so right wing. There's so many right wing voices, and I think Europeans, especially, a lot of like surprising, a lot of I felt like a lot of Dutch were complaining about comments, but like a lot of Europeans, especially Eastern Europeans, I know culturally they don't necessarily agree with transgender as like a cultural significance. Like here in the United States, we're much more liberal socially than a lot of Eastern or Central European nations, and that might be part of it. But I also stand on the hill that your culture is not an excuse to be a shitty fucking human. And Aloba's a good example of that, where he may not necessarily think they're women, but he at least is saying, "Hey guys, they deserve to be happy and succeed." Like you shouldn't be sending someone death threats. Like that's insane. Because like at the end of the day, and Loba said this in the video too, like God forbid someone actually, did hurt themselves or, God forbid kill themselves, like that's on you. Like you're the one who did that. You're the one who caused that pain and suffering. And if you're okay with that as a human being, like, dude, you're not human. Like the world's a better place without people like that. But like on the other side of the coin though, right? Like so many people in North America also showed so much love, and it's nice for them, I bet, knowing who they can be safe around in a way. Like if I was in that position, I almost breathe like fresh air, knowing okay, these people I know to stay away from, and these people I can trust. But like actual boots on the ground, North America, like they showed out, they were there for them. I know there was a lot of Furia fans, but also in the same turn, like seeing people on camera that I know love and support Impacts, and seeing people in chat like Scott Parks, friend of both of us, was streaming it and seeing everybody come there. I think it's just a very vocal minority, as is with most hate-based things. I hope, right? Humanity. But yeah, no, it's props to Comets, and props to the people who are out there actually speaking up and defending them, and it's just anybody who hates on them isn't worth the space that they take up. They're just not. If you really want
And
to
we hope
disagree
they
with it, or like,
change.
yeah, I know, seriously, like I don't want people to die, but like genuinely, just spend your energy on something else. Like I grew up in a
Or
fairly
keep your
weird
opinion to
household,
yourself. One of the two.
literally. That's what I've told my chat too. Like I've told that to people. I'm like, you can be a part of this community if you shut the fuck up and mind your business and just call them what they want to be called. Just respect. You don't
Yeah.
have to agree or understand. You just have to respect. Like if you want to be, if someone, I don't understand why people care about pronouns so much. Like
I
legitimately,
don't either.
it's who cares? It's a term in the English. Like it's actually a functional like language device in the English language. You use pronouns every day. Like when you say he went to the store, used a pronoun. They went to the store, used a pronoun. Like who the fuck cares? Just you don't have to agree with it. You don't have to understand it. Just respect what they want to be called. Why do people? It's just
And if somebody is
feels like
being
a
a
lot of
douchebag about it, then call them out for being a douchebag. Don't just automatically say, no, I'm not doing that on principle. It's like, I don't know.
so your principle is no respect. Like that's all
Exactly.
that means to me.
Exactly.
Because like
Well,
those people will respect what you want to be called. So like, dude, come on, it goes both ways. It's not hard. Like it's just
exactly.
decency.
I've never really understood the whole like, oh, I don't give respect until it's given to me kind of thing. It's like, well, the world's just a better place when we're kind of just all giving each other respect until we're given a reason not to give respect. Like, uh,
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
I, isn't that like part of the reason why people like the world is so weird too, where like people are constantly in this loophole of I'm not giving any until I get it. Okay, well if you're never getting it, you're never giving it, and you wonder why no one else ever gives it. Like I see it all the time
Right.
in my household. Like it's a feedback loop, man. You wonder why you don't get any respect, but you don't give any of it. So maybe you're the problem. Like if you walk in the room and you're the one that's always hated, or you're the one always disrespected, maybe that should tell you something. Shout out Aleph and MBG and them too. On that note, maybe you should have learned something before you got banned for hacking today. After screaming for years how you were so good and you got the 3300 elo without help, and then played Betroid who got wall hacked or got banned for walling, and now also you got banned.
It's been
So
a hot
yeah,
day in
that
the Counter Strike. It's been a hot week
dude,
in the Counter Strike community.
North America won today at least. I know if anyone from Timberman sees this, they'll start going on and being freaky to me in my chat again, like they have been once or twice already anytime I speak out against them. But like, dude, the proof's in the pudding. Every time one of those people or Timberman, I know Aleph isn't like Timberman roster, but he's Timberman associated. He's with that RMR team that went there a while ago. He's played with a lot of them. He's friends with a lot of them. Nero, I know he played a lot with. Droid, he played a lot with. MBG, he's played a lot with. Like that whole group, man, it's just rotten to the core. It's insane. it's also so funny seeing all the like clips of him debating the other guy who cheated. I don't know what was the other guy's name. It started with an S. There were three
Slukey?
of them today that got banned. Yeah, Sluky, like him fighting Sluky of like, you're hacking, I know it. Now it's like, well, now we know why you knew he was hacking. You were hacking too.
Right,
It
you're
takes one to know
hacking
one.
too.
Like it all makes sense now.
Do you think that there's, you know, do you think that there's hope for people like that eventually, or do you think that there should be not the cheaters necessarily, but just kind of that the whole group of people that you're talking about there, right? Is like, because I know like I finally met certain people. I'm not going to drop names. Big D's taking a road of neutrality here,
That's
for
fair.
now. But I know there were people that I met at LAN finally, and like they're just much different than what I hear in my head, or like the stories I've heard or read about or anything like that, or heard. You know, I've even played against some of these people online and listened to them be absolutely nasty to me, and then you meet them at LAN and they're just, for me, I just look at them and I'm like, oh my god, you're literally just a kid. Like you're like so young and still have the entire world in front of you and are just out here making mistakes. Really stupid mistakes, but just
Yeah.
mistakes. Like, do you feel that same way too? Or do you feel like there's like just like, do you think that we kind of need to start clamping down on our community a little bit harder, and policing it better, so that there is more of a welcoming environment, so that our game doesn't just die off and only be kept alive by, you know, totally shitty people?
I mean, yeah, it's both. I fully believe anyone can be like Timberman's a good example. You know, the one I made a semi, I guess Counter-Strike semi-viral post about how Timberman, when they got signed to their newest org last year, I made the post of like, why are we giving these people second chances? You know, one of them literally just compared themselves to Nazi Germany and the Holocaust post Wanlin, or post win loss, the Chicagoland. But I think yeah, they won that. Like, and yet we're giving them another chance for an org when they have the history they do, and they lost their shit on me. They're like, "Oh, who are you? You're nobody. I never ran. We've never played against you or heard against you." Meanwhile, there's chat logs and like face analyzers proof. Regardless, though, even people like that, anyone in the scene, like you can redeem yourself by just not doing it again. Like, I don't think anyone should be outright banned. Like, it's Counter Strike. Everyone's young and dumb when they start playing this game.
Unless you're
if you hang out
cheating.
with the wrong people. Literally, yeah. Unless you're cheating, like unless you're cheating and you're the one who made that active decision with no influence to cheat. I can see where like people who are young, like really young, they get influenced to cheat for someone else's benefit. Then that's different. But like if you individually make the decision to cheat to benefit yourself, yeah, no, fuck you, get out. You should know better. But like when it comes to just being a bad person, dude, I really don't think it's that deep. I think that this goes if someone from Timberman ever watches this or there's a include like genuinely to all of them, if they show me love and respect the same, I don't care. Like there's no like beef with me and anyone in the scene unless unless they act the same way over and over and over again. Like I think NA in general needs to, like, when you enforce better policy and enforce people away from the scene, you also need to be more willing to accept people back. Unfortunately, like Impact is a good example where unfortunately, you know, Counter-Strike doesn't have the most healthy community. A lot of like incel vibes, to be honest. People who just don't go outside or don't understand the world around them whatsoever. And, you know, a lot of like right-wing bullshit with higher elo players sometimes. But regardless of that, you know, everyone's redeemable. And I really do think like, okay, you said some nasty shit a year ago. Have you said nasty shit in the past year? Okay, no. Okay, fine. Let's give you another chance. Like, I don't think anyone deserves to have their career ended or a career canceled over that shit. A lot of us started playing this game in like, you know, when we're 15 to 20, I would say, and some of us even younger. I started playing when I was 19, so I'm probably the latest bloomer of most people in the scene, to be honest. But yeah, it's just a lot of us come from like Call of Duty days too. Like, remember Xbox 360 Call of Duty? Like the shit that people say in Counter Strike now is nothing compared to that. As fucked up as that is,
Yeah.
like it's not like it's
You
not
hear
comparable.
some
It was so
slurs
much
in
worse then.
Counter Strike, but like that's pretty much it. Back in the
Yeah, that's
day
it.
was Yeah, it was a wild time to be alive, that's for sure.
It was a slur a second in some lobbies. It was bad. So it's gotten better. I think it's gotten better over time. But Counter Strike, especially because there's such a large community, a large minority community, they're still a minority, but like disenfranchised, whether it's transgender, women, or minorities, like those people don't have a lot of representation at the top of the table right now. So the only way to provide that, top of the table representation is by having better enforcement. And I think it's actually on policymakers like Face It, or ESL, and stuff like that. It's on them to actually punish, especially the high tier players. I mean, the comment earlier, like some streamers in the scene, unfortunately, just I don't think are great. They're just toxic, and that's their content. And I think it reinforces it too. And they don't deserve punishment. Like it's a Twitch stream, dude. It's not that deep. Like if they want to be toxic on stream, they can be toxic on stream. But like there's no way we should be letting ECL players and advanced players going around screaming slurs and pugs and then let them compete in that too. Like,
Right.
slap them on the wrist, give them a season ban, and then when they come back, if they say another slur, okay, give them a 2-season ban. Like a 3-strike system, something, just something. Like it's so tiring. And then I outed a player. I won't say names for this. Outed a player for being transphobic, and then the org owner's like, hey, messaging me and stuff like that. I won't say anything on that. But again, like the players are defending him, where they're like, he didn't say anything in prac time. Dude, no, of course he's not going to say anything in prac time. He's representing your team and your organization, and he's going to throw slurs around while you're in the middle of a prac or a scrim or a league game. Like, use your common sense. Like,
Right.
think through the scenario. No one's going to show up to a business meeting and start slinging slurs in the middle of their press conference.
No, they're
Like,
not.
dude, come on, use your fucking head. Like, that's not how the real world works. Most people are smart enough to at least closet their bigotry until they feel like it's safe for them to speak up. Comments is a good example. A lot of these people always have thought these things when they see people like that, but they felt the space allowed them to finally speak out and spread hate. So, another long-winded answer, but yeah, no, give people chances, man. As many as they're willing to do. There's a point where if you're cheating, like you said, with actual intent, get rid of them. And like if you're 26 and throwing slurs around, maybe you shouldn't be playing competitive either. But like these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, realistically, I mean, whatever, give them more chances. And that Timberman's a good example. I think most of those guys, like if they're willing to change and not be such pieces of shit, then good for them. I know Shane. I actually shout out to Shane. He's blocked me on Twitter for no reason, but I messaged him too. I DM'd him. Was like, hey, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry if you ever felt attacked by that Twitter post that I mentioned that was semi-viral in the CS scene. Because I was told, he's doing his best to try and improve and become a better person, and I believe it. Fuck it. So shout out Shane, even though you blocked me for no reason. I like people like him. Give him a chance. If he's doing better, he's doing better. Great. Fuck it. I'll support him.
Give them
He's NA, so that's all I care about.
Give them all a chance. They're all kids. They all got we're all going to be playing this game for the rest of our lives, very likely the way it goes, and making time for it. How involved we'll be in the scene may be a different story, but this game really gives us all such an opportunity to learn people from all sorts of walks of life, and all the things that come with that, right? Like all the disagreements, all the ups and downs, and everything. So yeah, I just want to see everybody succeed and have a second chance. I think that's really well said. But all right, I got 2 last questions here for you, Dudley. These are my final questions. Because man, this has been a wonderful chat, and I very much appreciate you coming on to the show. My first question is, well, we'll ask this question to tie into everything we've been talking about. So, this is your opportunity to get really up on the soapbox and preach it out. Uh, what would you give the younger generation some advice right now? Like, if you were talking to a younger version of yourself, like 10, 11 years old, and you wanted to give them some advice, what would it be? It could be Counter-Strike related, esports, life, whatever you want.
I mean, unironically, play more Counter Strike, but realistically, I think I'm very much a condition of my own house and my household. But I think just love every moment. Like, be grateful for every moment that you're alive. Life can flash away in an instance. I mean, I honestly almost died last week in someone running a red light and totaling a brand new car. Like, if I didn't hit the brake, I could very well be dead right now. So it just being grateful for every single moment and everything you do, and but also allowing yourself the space to be negative and allow yourself to feel every negative emotion. Feel every single emotion and try your best to be grateful you felt it. The feeling of something is better than the feeling of nothing. When you go numb, that has to be one of the worst feelings you could ever experience in life. And it's tough in the moment for the human mind to conceptualize that, right? Like the mind is awful at looking forward a minute, let alone 60, let alone a day, a week, when we're talking about emotional turmoil, or what's happening in life when it's unknown. But yeah, just be grateful for as much as you can be, and make sure to experience every emotion. And you don't have to like be happy about it, obviously, but be grateful that you experienced it at all. Um, and maybe that sounds like rose tinted glasses, but
Not
I've
at
been through
all.
enough shit that I think that's a fair opinion. Um, like there's no happiness without sadness. There's no anger without calm. I mean, every emotion is the opposite reaction of another, and you can't experience one without the other. So it's life. I mean, shit comes and goes, moments come and go. But, realistically, no one knows what happens after death. If it's a continuation of this life or a creation of another existence, you just don't know. And unfortunately, even in our scene, people have died suddenly. So, yeah, play more Counter Strike. Be grateful and accept every emotion. Don't reject it. You'll be much more mature and emotionally aware if you're willing to do those things.
Well said. I couldn't agree more. I think that's beautiful. All right, this is my last question for you. This is kind of a fun one. Where did you come up with the name Dudley? What's that mean to you?
Yeah, it's my first family's dog. He's already dead, but so his name was Dudley. When I was a kid, my dad like proposed to my mom, but he made the rule of we get a puppy before you get a wedding ring. So we got Dudley. So he had been around since before I was born, and he like when I was born, I was his focus. He was an Irish Wolfhound Airedale Terrier mix, which is a weird mix. Like someone had to hold that terrier up and like let it go. It's something was weird with that mix. But yeah, he took the Airedale Terrier, or he took the Irish Wolfhound size and the look. So he's a big, curly, gray old monster. But he's a sweetheart. He like sat by the crib every night. He would, if I woke up crying or woke up in the middle of the night, he'd go run and get my parents. So I grew up with him. And I came with the moniker in middle school. I was like, my first time online was in Florida when I was living in Florida at Inverness Public Library. And I was coming up with a nickname. I think it was for RuneScape. Might have been for something else, but I think it was RuneScape. I was like, what should I do? And I was like, okay, I'll just name myself after my dead dog because that's what a middle schooler does, I guess, right? So I went with Dudley, and then we had a dog named Waldo. I did it for Waldo. I had Bailey. We had Bailey back in the day as well, so I had Bailey as a name. And I was like, Dudley, I think feels like the most normal name of the three. So I'm just gonna rechange all my names and condense them all into Dudley. So it's like an active memorial or active remembrance for our family's first dog in a way. And now, like honestly, Dudley's just a name that it just sounds like a first name to me at this point. It's a second. It is what it is. I have friends that I've known for 7 years that refuse to call me Brandon and just call me Dudley in person. I was like, okay, like there's a point where you just call me my first name, but I get it. Dudley, it's you see it in Street Fighter and you see it in Harry Potter. So, but yeah, it's not after the Harry Potter bully. I promise. Not a great character. He has redemption though. The one deleted scene where he like goes up to Harry and like shakes his hand and then goes back to his abusive father. He has his redemption. He has his moment.
All right, Brandon. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. And that is gonna do it for us here. You got one last thing to yap about. Where do we find you? What kind of plugs you got here before we close it out?
Yeah, so I'm notoriously really bad at short form. So it really is just Twitch. It's just twitch.tv/Dudley__. I don't stream to make money or to make a career. I stream on the off chance. I stream because it makes people happy. And on the off chance I ever do make it big on Twitch, I want to open a wildlife sanctuary. So I'm not saying make me famous and rich, but like if I ever did chat, you'd see some cool wildlife at least.
Be
But yeah, that's
saving the
really about it. Maybe
animals.
one day I'll do other stuff. Yeah, that's the life goal. Maybe one day I'll do other short form content, but yeah, that's about it for now. And Twitter too, actually. Wildlife Dudley on Twitter. Um,
I'm half tempted to say my Snapchat for the fun of it because I've done that to my chat a few times.
Lay it on us.
But nah, it's fine. That's probably a bad choice. But yeah, Twitter is Wildlife Dudley, and then my Instagram is also Wildlife Dudley. And honestly, dude, like if anyone wants to ever DM, have a real conversation, my Discord too is Dudley. Period. So yeah, my DMs are open to everybody in the scene. That's normal. And if you're not, I'll just tell you you're not, I guess. But like even then, yeah, my DMs are open to anybody and everybody if they ever need a space to rant or whatever else. So
Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Dudley, for joining us, and thank you at home. That is
thank you, everybody.
it. And